Welcome to episode 4 of AFC FYLDE Still We Rise, here on Football Manager 2020. I'm Charlie, and in our standing agenda item where I open the episode by correcting mistakes from the previous edition, on screen we have Devon Green. He was recommended to me by the FM Gamer over on Twitter, and I said that he was a Southport player. I've now discovered that he actually moved to Scunthorpe United in January after I saw him play at Mill Farm. It's a good move for him, going from the Vanarama North up to Sky Bet League 2, which is where Scunthorpe are these days. I can't do anything in this transfer window because I have disabled budgets, but I can still scout him, and I've sent our man Alex Hay over to find out whether we'll be able to get him perhaps in January on loan. If not, we'll look to poach him at the end of the season should we gain promotion. There are a couple of notable news items that I'd like us to take a look at. The Vanarama National League promotion odds have been forwarded by my press officer Lola. FYLDE are 4-1 for promotion, 5th favourites. Notts County are top of the shop, they're evens for promotion, and 3-1 to secure the National League title. I find the bottom statement here somewhat ironic. Having priced us at 11-1 to go down, the bookmakers obviously believe we are one of a number of teams that shouldn't be worrying about relegation. That was fairly true at the start of the real life season, where we shouldn't have been worrying about relegation. However, quite quickly we were very much worried and still find ourselves in the lower reaches of the National League, which is especially precarious considering that no decision has been made yet as to what we do with the remainder of the fixtures or the league itself in 2019-20. There's talk of points per game, there's talk of rendering the season null and void. Only certain teams can be promoted, certain teams can be relegated, depends on the number that they allow at each end of the table, whether the season restarts behind closed doors and the teams are forced to finish off the season, although with contracts coming to an end, that increasingly looks unlikely and unrealistic. The chairman of FYLDE, David Haythornthwaite, has been very outspoken on his coronavirus crisis YouTube series, where he believes that some other stakeholders in the league are not acting with the best interests of everybody. Do check out his videos. He is a bit of a controversial character, but you always know exactly what he's thinking. I've got to give him that. In other news, we have the top goal scorer odds from our friends at Football 365. They've gone for Reece Murphy at evens. He's over at Yeovil. Jamie Reid, Torquay, for the second favourite, and then Kabongo Tismanga at Boreham Wood. Last season's top scorer, of course, was Danny Rowe. Danny moved mid-season over to Oldham Athletic, much like Devon Green. However, in the game, it's counted as being in June, as we have started the season afresh with the updated database. The other items to look at is Kenny McKenna. He is off on a coaching course. This is my assistant who is paid more than I am and on a longer contract. He's currently at a Continental B licence level. That will increase and further the chasm of coaching qualifications between us. I'm not sure whether we're going to work out. I think it's quite a bold move from Kenny there. Obviously getting in place just in case I were to get sacked. It's not beyond the realms of possibility. In terms of the National League top player odds, Enzio Baldridgen I mean, I've butchered that name, haven't I? He is a Dutchman at Notts County. He is 3-1 favourite. Then we've got Jamie Osborne, Billy Billingham. But my personal pick and my tip is Matthew Platt at Barrow. He is on loan from Blackburn, I believe. A central defender. His stats look quite good. I think he could do a really good job here. Last season he was on loan at Southport, which again speaks to the ascension in level by Devan Green, as discussed earlier. Last season's best player, of course, was Danny Rowe. Need I say more? We do have 2 new coaches on staff. Despite me saying in a previous episode that I wasn't going to bring anybody in this season, after a couple of really poor training reports, I have, and there's no other word for this, panicked. I've brought in David Platt and Wes Brown. Platt has experience coaching with Manchester City and with England. He was most recently Pune manager. In addition, obviously, he has a glittering playing career, most notably with Arsenal and Sampdoria. Wes Brown is more of a recent retirement. He finished off his career in India following a season in the Sky Bet Championship with Blackburn Rovers. Obviously, Manchester United for many years, and then was at Sunderland, and things did not go so well. Both have assisted our stats no end. They have jumped up, especially where man management is concerned. We are now top of the shop. In other news, I have also recruited a chief data analyst and a head of sports science, just to give us a bit of knowledge in those areas. As you can see, the recruitment team are amongst the best in the league, or the best in 4 categories, and then our medical team have also taken a big rise. In terms of players, I've signed a backup right back to act as cover for Luke Burke, who was the only one really suited to that position. Russell Knowles was in our under-18 team. He was one of those that I grayed out at the start of the game. And this is a bit of a tip for lower league managers, that if you are desperate for personnel, snap 1 or 2 up from your own youth setup. They might not be any good to start with. I mean, his stats are not anything to write home about, but with some coaching, he could be capable of at least filling in should injuries, suspensions strike, especially if you're going to leave yourself open like we have with just having one recognised right back in Luke Burke. Since you last joined us, we've played 2 friendlies. We had one at Rochdale, and this really is the reason why I've signed Russell Knowles, is that Luke Burke got himself sent off on 83 minutes. By then the score was 1-1, and we held out. Mark Yates with the goal there. It was a good fixture for us. We followed up with Squiresgate, a really local team to Fylde, just at the next motorway junction. They are one of the 3 teams that are in a little sort of triangle on the way into St Anne's. You've got AFC Blackpool, Squiresgate and Blackpool Wren Rovers. We started the game with a fairly strong lineup, established a 5-0 lead by half time, and as you can see, Russell Knowles made his debut and slotted away a penalty, just to give him a bit of confidence, give him a boost heading into the season. We finished off with 1 goal in the second half, just from Tom Walker. Phyllis got himself on the score sheet, but I think we're still going to go with Jamie Proctor to start the season. In our last pre-season friendly, we head over to the Mechanics to play AFC Blackpool. And this is as close to the squad the starting 11 that we'll have in the first game away at Chesterfield. The question marks remain around the central defence. Kyle Jamieson, I'm still not convinced by in this game. Whether we replace him with Alex Whitmore, who's got a bit more experience to his name. Have a quick look at Alex. Last season, he was at Grimsby and played 31 games in League 2. Prior to that, he was at Chesterfield, Bury in League 1, where he played 8 games in the league. Morecambe, 35 games. Having been on loan 4 times from Burnley, where he never saw a minute of league action. Because, in terms of the stats, obviously, for previous years, only the league is recorded. Up front, we go back to our tactics. Jamie Proctor will be given the first few games in his preferred target man role. I'm quite prepared to give him enough rope to hang himself with, in footballing terms. Then we'll perhaps look at Danny Philliskirk or Kurt Willoughby. It depends on how he does. I think the first 3 to 5 games will get a good barometer of how suited he is to this league, how suited he is to the playing style, because I just can't see him running in behind when we're looking for a fluid counter-attack. However, off we go to the mechanics. Let's submit our team. This should be the 4th friendly we've played against non-league opposition, a lot further down the pyramid than we are, and therefore I'm hoping that our strikers get a good workout, get more goals on the board. Hopefully Jamie Proctor will do. I mean, they never listen anyway, so it doesn't really matter what we say in terms of our team talk. File playing in their away kit of yellow, AFC Blackpool in the orange and white. AFC Blackpool, along with a host of other smaller non-league clubs, are running a Thank You NHS campaign where you can buy a shirt for £20 plus delivery from Macron, which has got the club badge. It's a Macron shirt and the Thank You NHS logo where the sponsorship would be across the front. It's a really good initiative, and Kyle Jamieson has just scored. See, this is why I'm not sure about him. If you're good at set pieces, and you are, do I sacrifice a better defender in Alex Whitmore for a more of a goal threat? Oh, this must be a nightmare for actual real football managers. And now Neil Byrne has scored. Corners are working out nicely. I might actually put those out there for other people to use. Of course, we are against lower league opposition. But as I was saying, AFC Blackpool have put this kit out there in partnership with Macron. They're not making a thing of it. And I believe for every shirt sold, £5 is being donated to the NHS, which is a wonderful initiative, and all those clubs involved should be applauded. Proctor in behind. I mean, he's not going to run in behind properly. Bradders, Crowsdale, Walker, passing in good numbers here. Let's see if we can get a shot off. Of course we can. This is what I meant about the players getting their confidence up. Mistake here from McGregor for AFC Blackpool. Just passed over into the midfield clearance, and then Dan Bradley with an audacious shot just takes over and finishes off. We are on key highlights for this game because I was worried there would be a lot of goals again like there was against Squires Gate, and we'd be here all afternoon with the various attacks. Burke taking on his man, cross to the back post, Jordan Williams. A very Football Manager goal. For those that have played the game, certainly for the last 3 or 4 years, anything out wide that goes from one full back to the other wing seems to just get gobbled up. And is a little bit, dare I say the word, overpowered. The plan for half-time is to make some sweeping changes. I think we've proved our point here, and we can start to look at players that might not get that start against Chesterfield. Header over the bar there. Good work by Jordan Williams though. He is a very good player. And again, another one like Alex Whitmore, last season, League Football. Took the gamble to move down into the National League. And he certainly isn't to blame for the struggles that FYLDE have had. He is the top scorer, I believe, with something like 12 goals to his name this season. So he's certainly one that's done himself justice. Let's leave Jamie Proctor with the penalty. Stick this one away, and then you're coming off at the break. Goes near the keeper though, I tell you what. There's no need for that, is there? Stick it in the corners. And now we're just getting ready for half time. Only really the goalkeeper, James Montgomery, although goalkeepers never get high stats, and Matty Kozolo have not really performed. So team talk. Go on then, Ken. Turn them green. See. Oh, I hate you so much. Nice guy. We shall bring on in goal. Dan Lavercombe can get a few minutes run out. Jameson's coming off for Whitmore. Philliskirk we shall put on right wing. He's not too bad at that. Yates on the left. Willoughby through the middle, but we'll adjust his position slightly to an advance forward to give us a look at what that looks like. Andy Kellett come on to get some experience on the left, and Nick Horton will come on central midfield. We'll swap him with Tom Walker. Start the second half, and superstitious as always, we put our cursor that side, and if I remember, we give a demand more shout, which is something I started doing ever since I used to watch Kaya Knight on YouTube. I missed one, I'll get a penalty. I'm going to have to watch the replay on that later on. But Phyllis, that's more like it. Finds the corner. Let's not give the goalkeeper a chance. FYLDE with 14 shots, Blackpool with none. AFC Blackpool with none. Let's be careful about that or I get in trouble. There are a lot of really good YouTubers out there that I've quite enjoyed watching. Obviously, you've got the big boys, Lelujo, Dr. Benji. I really like Kaya Knight's series. He was with Blackburn Rovers on Football Manager, I want to say 2017. I will check on this and confirm. This will be the agenda item. I'm already writing it for next episode. I'll check on which game he was playing, but I would watch it religiously. Of course, he had graduated to the point where he had his face in the screen, which is the plan for me. Eventually, we'll get there. We're starting off just getting used to playing the game and talking into this microphone while doing it, which is something I'm having to do quite a lot in the second half because there is a lack of goal bout action. I mean, guys, come on. Have we got anything? Another corner. Not a goal this time. but a threat. Oh, that was ridiculous. Corners, I think, are going to be quite important for the season to come, especially because in real life, FYLDE were quite poor, especially defending corners, never mind attacking them. But defending just seemed to be a bit of an issue, and it's hard to understand why, especially because of the two managers, both were defenders. Dave Challoner was a well-known defender, especially at Tranmere. And then Colin Woodthorpe, former Stockport County, amongst others. He was a defender as well, his assistant. And now, with Jim Bentley at the helm, he was a defender with Morecambe for many years before moving into the coaching setup. So it is quite a mystery as to why FYLDE were so poor at the back. It did seem like halfway through the season, when Sam Hornby came in from Bradford, that was a bit of a statement to say that they were putting the blame on the goalkeepers, which I thought was a little bit unfair, especially when you've got the experience of Neil Byrne in front, and then, as we've looked at with Alex Whitmore, Luke Burke gets a yellow card. He does get a lot of those, and that is why we'll have to use Russell Knowles at some point during this season. But there we go. Aside from the penalty, which Danny Phillips-Kirk stuck away, that was all for the second half. That is his third goal for pre-season, so at least he's finding the back of the net. He plays better, really, as an attacking midfielder, I think, than a striker. I think his stats are more suited there. But we've picked up a win. That means we are unbeaten in pre-season. Yes, can you tell them that they were? Excellent. In other friendlies, we had Rangers getting one over NEC. Dutch side, Brighton beating another Dutch side in AZ. Wolves held to a draw by Pescara. So that is the end of today's episode. FYLDE stroll to success. That's a bit of a 24 shots to 1. Yeah, alright then. I'll let you off with that one. Player of the match was Neil Byrne. Rare to see a defender get man of the match when so many forwards have played really well and got on the score sheet. That's all for today's episode. Next time, we're going to have to go to Chesterfield. We're going to have to start the National League campaign. I say that because things can only go badly. We're expected to do so well, and as we've seen in real life, it's so easy to get into a really bad rut and have a series of poor performances, lack of points on the board, and all of a sudden you're in a relegation scrap that you just don't get out of. So thank you for watching episode 4. We'll be back with episode 5 very soon.